Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about derby boots. I know a lot of you have skates already. Some of them are a little too high, they'll work fine, but they're not the best for derby skating. You have a shorter boot like this. This is Coach Candy's boot. And then I like a little bit higher boot like this for the ankle support. Hers is still kind of high. They actually make lower ones as well. It's just really a personal preference. As far as sizing, for you juniors, you might want to size up a little bit. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on a really expensive boot because your kids are going to grow. So it's really just kind of what you want to spend initially, I guess, and then grow into that. Mine is actually a size 5 in skates. I wear about a size 7 in women's. Candy, what is your size?
Mine is about a 9.5 in Modas, and I wear a size 10 in women's.
So the boots vary just a little bit in sizes. Go try them on. There's a shop called Derby for All that will help you figure out what your size is and which boot will fit you the same. I tried on every boot they had, and this is actually the only one I really liked and that fit properly with my wide feet. So the best case scenario is just to go try them on, or if somebody has a pair that you can try on and test out, I would do that as well.
Yeah. Okay, so every skate has, I'm going to call it the anatomy of a roller skate. You have all the different pieces and all of the different doodads. If you just look at the skate, you can see there's the boot, the laces. Some skates have a strap. Neither Sweezy and I have straps. I choose not to have them on there. There is the plate, which you can see here. These are called the trucks. These are what control the movement side to side or like this way. Your cutting and your edges. Your trucks right here. And then your wheels, your axles, and your toe stops. So you can see that we both have fairly similar setups. And every skate is going to look the same. Also, you can see how dirty they are.
This part is going to look a little bit different. You'll notice that ours, she has a bar here. I do not. That's okay. Different plates are different weights. They're different qualities. I have kind of a mid-range plate. I do suggest getting a plate that has a toe stop kind of like this, where you can screw it into the plate, but then it has this little Allen wrench here. That keeps your toe stop really, really secure. Some of you do have the toe stops that screw into the plate, but then they have like a washer right in here, and those tend to come out quite a bit, especially if you're using your toe stops a lot. So when you do move up in a quality of boot and plate, I would get one that has this little Allen wrench nut or screw here. That will keep this in better. It prevents it from turning. It doesn't fly out of there. So that's always a really good option. As far as them being light, you don't need to go super crazy with that. It is going to be easier on your kids because they have these little legs and these giant heavy skates. But for quality purposes, I don't really think that's a huge thing. Like I said, mine's a mid-range. Hers is probably a little bit higher quality.
But changing your skates is not necessarily going to change your skill level, especially for juniors. It's a lot about learning the form and about learning the process of skating over how amazing your equipment is. So you'll notice we have a couple of different tools that we use. So I have this really cheap socket thingy that I got as part of like a toolkit or whatever that I just keep in my bag all the time. There are also ones that have the 3 different sized tools, and then Sweezy just keeps a good old
I use a socket wrench or a ratchet. This works fine for me. It's pretty big, but you get a lot of leverage on it. Works well. I was just too cheap to buy one of those tools, but they are a good investment. So I use that. And then a lot of you have a different size nut than my socket here. So I'll keep just a crescent wrench in my bag as well so that you can grab different things with that. Your 3-prong tool will have this, but it won't be adjustable like this one. So I like to keep good old-fashioned tools. There is also a bearing puller. If we can find that to show to you. I'll let Candy keep talking to you about the other parts of the skate.
So, no, Mark. When you take your skates apart, you just unscrew the skate nut for the wheel. there should just be your 2 bearings, 1 bearing on each side in your wheel. And some of you have washers, some of you have something else. I don't have any of that. I don't need any of that. Basically, all you're going to end up with is a nut, a wheel, and then here are your axles. And then you can see the truck's a little bit better from this angle. These in here that you can kind of see, there are a bunch of different colored ones. Sometimes they're purple or red or green. These are called cushings or cushions or bushings. All the same thing, 3 different words for it, just kind of depends on who you're talking to. The softness or hardness of these can change the way that your axles respond to using your edges and to moving your feet, as well as to your trucks. It's a more advanced change. You really don't need to worry about that. The only time you need to worry about it is if these are completely disintegrated. So if you bought used skates from another skater or from online, I would definitely consider looking at these just to make sure that they aren't completely flat. Make sure that they still look like healthy rubbery things. You can have nuts of different types. So I've got plastic nuts from Moda, and I believe Sweezy has just standard metal nuts from, you can get them at the hardware store, you can get them from the skate shop, you can get them online. Mine come with plastic ones because the whole goal of my skate is to be the lightest possible that they can be.
So your trucks in here are really important to know how to adjust these. You'll see Coach Candy has some numbers on hers that show her where she's actually at. Mine don't have the numbers, but they are the same. They have these little locking clicks in them, essentially. So you can rotate this, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So you rotate this and it'll snap to the next click. So as you're going to the left with these turns, it's going to make this more mobile. It'll go side to side better, which means you have to lean your weight less into those feet to make a turn. You want these to be pretty loose as you progress with your skills. So that way you're not putting as much effort and you're not fighting your wheels to make a turn or make a cut. I will loosen mine occasionally. It is very different when you loosen them. It feels like you're unbalanced and unstable, and that's okay. You're gonna get used to that. But these are really handy with the clicking ones. A lot of you I know just have the actual nut in there. It doesn't have these clicky things in it, and it's a little bit harder to adjust. But essentially you can loosen this and then grab these wheels and push down side to side. I usually grab mine like this, and I'll see how much they move side to side. And you can always try them looser and then tighten them back up and see how you feel. You'll have a little bit more stability with them being tighter. However, you're gonna have a lot harder time moving from left to right. So